Hey everybody, this is Paul Dame, Chair of the Vermont Republican Party. I wanted to come to you with a quick message here on reapportionment and some of the things that have been happening and some potential problems that I see. I'm going to start with one example today. As you remember, the original Legislative Apportionment Board put out a map of single-member districts to make sure that every Vermonter has the same number of House reps, same number of Senate reps. That I believe is fundamentally more fair than the system we have today. They did a lot of good work on that, and as soon as it was submitted, the Democratic majority took the work that was done and threw it in the trash for their own political advantages. I'm going to show you the first example of what I hope to be a series of others here. So let's take a look at the maps that are offered here, and I'll show you kind of where we've been. So this is the version of the Legislative Apportionment Board map that was initially drawn here in this area of Manchester. This had Manchester, Sandgate, Arlington, and some of Sunderland there had originally been a two-member district. The Legislative Apportionment Board said, hey, that's not fair. We're trying to make this equal for everyone. So they came up with a proposal that would split it. Manchester would get their own representative, and then these three smaller towns would get a representative that would represent just their district. Right now, you have this larger district, and you end up with two legislators who happen to live in Manchester. This new proposal from the Tripartisan Legislative Apportionment Board would have made sure that Sandgate, Arlington, Sunderland could have had a rep from their own part of that district. Okay, so they put this proposal out. And the amazing thing is, back in the fall, these BCA boards had a lot more time to review this plan. Let's take a look at actually the comments that they sent in. Obviously, Sandgate, Arlington, and Sunderland. Again, this is from the full 109-page report of the Legislative Apportionment Board. Sandgate, Arlington, Sunderland made a couple suggestions. Those were accommodated in the second version of this map. And you can see here, they just took an excerpt from the public comments that were submitted formally by the BCA. Sunderland says those three communities are very close together. They all use the same fire protection rescue squad service. They like the idea that they were put together. Arlington also says a one-member district, total size 3,900. Copy of the map will be emailed as attachment. It's worth noting that Sunderland was split by the 2010 map, is now made whole. So we were taking one of these smaller towns that was broken into pieces and put back together. So Sunderland, Arlington submitted public comment saying that they like that. If we even go up to Manchester, right? Because they're the ones who are kind of losing out right now. They get two members. What did they have to say? Well, here's a direct quote from the Manchester BCA. So while we have seen the benefit of having two representatives from Manchester in that former Bennington 4 district, we support fair representation throughout Vermont's various towns. I have to give a lot of credit to the folks in Manchester. They recognize that the current status quo system gives an unfair advantage to them, and they're willing to say, hey, in the sake of fairness, maybe we shouldn't have that advantage. They're still going to get at least one rep, and we can guarantee them it's going to be for Manchester. So here you have an example, again, where we had these four towns, really three towns and part of one town, were all clumped together. All three of the towns that commented said, hey, we like this arrangement. We think it's more fair, it's more equitable. Even the people that got the advantage said, hey, this is a good idea. So you would think the Tripartisan Legislative Apportionment Board put this together. The towns wrote back all saying, hey, this works for us. You would think that the Democratic majority would say, hey, great, we had a first version. Everybody likes it. Let's start with there. That's not what they did. I'll take you to the map that was put out on the 17th. This is in part of their locked district, meaning that this is a place, unless there's major change, unless people from Arlington, Sunderland, Sandgate, even Manchester comment, this is the way it's probably going to stay. They did the exact opposite. They undid all the work from the apportionment board. They took the public comments from those towns who approved it and completely reversed it. Basically went back to the status quo. Now, why would the Democrats do that? Because one of the things you'll see on this map that you don't see on the apportionment board map is all these little green diamonds that show you where the incumbents are. So what's happening is the Democratic majority on the Government Operations Committee is taking into high amount of consideration where their existing reps are. They are ignoring the public record comment of the towns saying what they want, and the Democrats are doing what is in their political advantage. Right? Because if the Democrats do what the towns told them to do, asked them to do, it means they're going to have a primary in this district, and they're going to have to go recruit another candidate out in this area. They don't want to do that, and so they are violating those public comments. They're also splitting up the town of Sunderland. This is going to create more work for the town clerk in Sunderland. Some of the people who live in Sunderland are going to be in one district. Some of the people are going to be in a different district. And this just creates more hassle when it's not needed. There was a solution that was workable and that everybody was happy with. But because it doesn't work with the Democratic Party's agenda of maintaining their existing incumbency, it's been scrapped. And this is going to move forward. So if anybody here, please forward this, share this video with anybody who lives in Arlington, Sunderland, Sandgate, Manchester. Make sure that they contact their select board, their BCA, contact the Government Operations Committee, and let them know that they spent that time to do the public comment for a reason, and they want those single member districts so that those smaller towns get better represented. That's one of the things that I think is important about our push for more and more single member districts, ideally a statewide map of single member districts, because it empowers rural Vermont, which I think has kind of been lost in a lot of the things that have happened in Montpelier. So again, it's not quite too late, but I do think that the Government Operations Committee is moving very fast on this. We could see a full map come out possibly next week. So make sure if you know anybody in those towns, get this information to them, have them comment. It's not too late yet, but it could be very shortly. So thanks again. I'm hoping to take a look at a couple other issues as the days unfold of things that look a little bit questionable about some of these new maps that are drawn.